Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got a video showing you guys the phones I have had all the way up from the first one to the one I'm using right now. So I got my first phone in grade 6, I believe, and it was something that was able to call and do nothing else, and that was kind of the story with my first few phones. My parents didn't want to get me a nice iPhone or whatever, and I remember a lot of my friends had iPhones back in the day, but I didn't actually get a smartphone until I was in grade 10. So this is going to be a funny video, but let's get started with my first 3 phones. So a lot of these are just props. I either broke or ended up selling a lot of these phones to get the next one. So I kind of just brought back some demo ones here for the sake of the video. But let's get started with the first phone. The first one I got was the LG VX 4500. It was pretty much something that came out I think in like 2008 or 9, and my dad had it for a few years. And he lost it, they found it again, and my mom was like, that's your first phone. So it was able to call and really not do anything else. The battery life was like a week on this thing. It didn't have a camera, it was very basic, and it got the job done at the time. The next one I got was the 5500, and this was one that was prepaid, and I remember my mom taking me to the store and asking for the cheapest prepaid phone. It was able to call. I didn't have a texting plan on it, but I was actually kind of stoked for this thing because it was red and black. I thought it looked cool, and it even had a camera at 0.3 megapixels, which is pretty crazy. And this is what like the shutter sounds like. As you can see, there's my wallpaper from when I was like 13 or 14, and I have no idea why that's on there, but it still works and everything. And the reason why I got this phone was actually because I dropped my VX 4500 in the ocean and tried to put it in rice and everything, but the phone itself was not functional after that. The third phone was what I would consider my dream phone before I was looking into smartphones, and that is the LG Kibo, the original Kibo. And as you would expect, back in the day, a keyboard was really cool, and I really wanted a BlackBerry, but that was just too expensive. So I bought this thing for like $30 on Craigslist, and the battery life on it was like a day or two, and the phone itself was able to take notes, it was able to store music, it had some speakers built in, and it even had a 2 megapixel camera, which was a pretty big jump from the 0.3 megapixel camera on the 5500. It had the dial pad on the front, and yeah, I thought it was pretty cool because you can just flip it open and it had the full QWERTY keyboard. The fourth device isn't exactly a smartphone, but it is the iPod Touch 4th generation, and this is probably the most important thing in my life at the time because I remember saving up so long for it, and it was my first camera to start making YouTube videos.
Hey guys, this is JTechApple 001 here, and today I've got the unboxing and review of the custom skins for the Gateway LT206.
I made about 300 videos on this thing in 480p, and I think I deleted all of them now, which I really regret now, but this is the iPod Touch 4th generation. It served me very well, and it kind of bridged the gap between my phones that were able to call and a device that I was able to watch videos on, record videos, and use social media and stuff like that. So this is the iPod Touch 4th generation. After that, I was able to get my first smartphone, and this was the iPhone 4. I believe I was in grade 10 at the time, and this device kind of bridged the iPod and the calling functionality of the non-smart LG phones. This is the iPhone 4S as a demo, but I had a white iPhone 4 that I bought for like $100, and I used that for the next 2 years, I believe, before I got the iPhone 5. I went with the white model and I really enjoyed it. This is the first phone that I got brand new, and I saved like an entire year to get it and ordered it on first day, and I was really excited. I remember sitting outside for like 5 hours waiting for UPS to come, and they came like really late in the day, and then I just remember making a ton of videos on this phone, and yeah, so that's the iPhone 5. The next one was the iPhone 5S, and it was the first model that Apple offered in gold. I remember really wanting the gold one, but it was completely sold out for like 3 weeks, and I went to Vancouver and picked up a black one to make videos on, but I ended up returning that and going with the gold model. Following the iPhone 6, there's a little bit of a funny story about this. I pre-ordered it at midnight, but I thought it'd be a great last-minute idea to go to Vancouver and line up for 27 hours and camp outside for the new iPhone. And I remember it was pouring rain. By the time I got to the front of the line, all of the Plus models were sold out, all of the 64GB models were sold out. So I picked up the 128 gig Gold 6, and when I went home, my pre-order model showed up at the exact same time. So that kind of defeated the purpose of it, but it was a good experience, and I'm probably never going to do that again, and I don't advise anyone to camp out for anything unless it's Yeezys. The last one I'm going to be talking about, of course, is the current iPhone 6s. And I have to say, of all of these phones, my favorite one is going to be the iPhone 6. With the iPhone 6s and its new features such as 4K video and the faster processor and stuff like that, that's pretty much all I really use in terms of new features on this phone. I like the fact that the fingerprint sensor is faster, but I actually disabled the 3D touch completely and Siri and all that stuff in order to save battery. And as you can see, I also have the Apple battery case with this phone. This phone is also in gold, and as you may notice by now, all of the iPhones I've had are in white or the gold model when it was available. So I'm personally really excited for the iPhone 7, and I'll be doing some videos talking about the rumors as we get closer to the announcement date, but I will be going with the black model this time around. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button as it helps the channel out a bunch, and I'll see you all in the next one.